you are the only problem you will ever have.
Yeah.
And you are also the only solution.
Yes.
So I started to take ownership and responsibility, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I'm Dr. David Alfi, your host, and you're watching the Alfi Podcast. If you or someone you know is affected by small jaws, difficulty breathing, not getting great sleep, make sure to share, comment, like, and if you need help, call us at 713-489-6984, or you can email info@alfioralsurgery.com. All right, welcome to the Alfi Podcast, episode number 42. A very special episode. We have New York Times bestselling author Ben Azadi, the ultimate biohacker. If you haven't read this book, you need to pick it up right now. It is the ultimate life hack, and we'll give you a teaser, talk about a little bit why.
Yes.
So Ben, before I get into it, I really enjoyed this book.
Thank you, David.
Couldn't put it down. I'm going to read it again, actually. What's with the pepper? What is that about?
Well, the pepper, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
The pepper signifies a spark.
Yep.
Capsaicin, which is one of the active compounds in red chili pepper, there's research showing that it helps with burning the body's ability to burn calories and burn fat, right? So it kind of associated with like fat burning and metabolism. And I like the back, the white cover, and then the red pepper made it pop. So
good contrast.
Yeah, good contrast, sure. Stand out in a bookshelf. So that's kind of the philosophy behind the idea behind the red pepper.
Yeah, awesome. And not your first book. You've had success with others. Yeah,
this is my fifth one. It's my first one that I went with a publisher, Hay House. All the other books were self-published.
Yep.
This one was with the publisher. It's the first time we hit the New York Times list. Book's doing really well, awesome. Getting into many hands. So it's my favorite book for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And you're busy speaking now?
Yeah, doing a lot of speaking. That's my favorite thing to do.
And I've enjoyed your content.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot, and that's the point of today. We're gonna give some pearls.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn from you too.
Thank you. Yeah, let's do it in order. I read the book, and you have a powerful story. You know, everybody, PBD. We talked about both knowing him. He wrote a book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely, and you had an enemy. Not an enemy in particular, but something that drove you to be this version of yourself now. So just briefly get into that.
Yeah, my enemy was me actually, and me holding myself back and having toxic thoughts and choosing bad lifestyle behavior. So, like so many people who grew up in the United States, we start eating this toxic processed food, a standard American diet. And as a kid, I was obese. Yeah. And not chunky, not husky. I was straight up fat. Yeah. And guess where my mom worked? Kentucky Fried Chicken. So she would bring home Kentucky Fried Chicken.
It's a setup.
It's a setup, right? And she was doing the best she could do to make ends meet. But I would eat the food. I hung out with the wrong crowd, and I developed really bad behaviors. I was addicted to drugs, addicted to video games, to sugar, to alcohol, and ate a very toxic diet. So at the age of 23, I was obese. I was struggling with erectile dysfunction. I was struggling with pre-diabetes, high blood pressure. Definitely my breathing was off and my jaw was not aligned.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. And I wanted to give up. I was actually looking for ways to take my life because I was tired of being depressed and in pain every day. It's like this cloud that just lives over you. Yeah. And sure, I had fun, but I always say that fun and happiness are not the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Fun is so shallow and it's short-lived.
Short-lived.
But happiness is really deep and fulfilling. I didn't have any happiness, and I wanted to give up, but I kept thinking about my mom and the devastation it would cause her if I took my life. So it forced me to figure things out. And that's where I started to get into self-development, even before nutrition. I started to get into Bob Proctor's work, Dr. Wayne Dyer's work. Yeah. And it helped me take responsibility and ownership. I stopped being the victim. Yeah. And then I started moving my body. And then I started eating real food. And I went through this incredible transformation. I lost 80 pounds in 9 months. I went from 250 pounds at my highest to 170.
Crazy.
Yeah,
almost
30.
half.
Yeah, cut essentially in half, right? 34% body fat to my lowest was 6% body fat. And I completely just transformed my health. And that's what got me into the health space. That was about 17 years ago. I wanted to share this with other people. So my enemy was me. It was my toxic thoughts. Right. And Bob Proctor once said, and it just completely changed the way I thought about things. He said, "You are the only problem you will ever have, and you are also the only solution."
Yes.
So I started to take ownership and responsibility, and the rest is history. Yeah. So my dad developed type 2 diabetes, which is completely preventable, reversible, and he ended up getting worse year after year, gained weight, obesity, losing his vision. And in 2013, he had severe diabetic neuropathy. And as you know, it's like when your nerves they feel like they're on fire. You could barely walk, you're in pain.
Right.
So we took him to the emergency room, and they were working on my father, giving him these tests. And he actually suffered a massive stroke in the hospital as they were running tests on him. They didn't know he was suffering a stroke. I'm the one who actually diagnosed it, meaning my dad stopped talking to me, and I'm telling the doctor and the nurse, like, hey, he's not talking. He was talking when he came in here. Something's wrong with him. And they didn't catch it in time, and it did so much damage that it left him paralyzed from the entire right side of his body.
Right.
And with the inability to speak. He couldn't speak anymore. 9 months after that, he ended up passing away. And it raised a lot of questions for me. Like, I was pissed off. I was angry at the medical system.
Yeah.
I was angry at myself for not finding alternative solutions.
Were you in the healthcare space at this point?
I was already, I had a gym at that time here in Miami, a CrossFit gym. I was already doing personal training, but I was treating it like a hobby, not the way I'm treating it now, the way you treat it like actual business and a purpose to reach as many people as possible. But when my father passed, that's when everything changed. You mentioned that was the spark.
Right.
That was the spark. Because the thing about diabetes is that in the United States, we spend $4.6 trillion every year on healthcare.
Yeah.
That would be the 4th largest GDP in the world if it was a GDP.
Crazy.
It's absolutely insane. And you would think, okay, we spend that much money on healthcare. We should be top 5 in the world in terms of health.
Right.
Nope. Top 15? No. Top 30? No. We're 37.
Yeah, we're very sick.
Very sick. And 1 out of every $4 spent on healthcare is spent on diabetes, primarily type 2.
Wow.
So it's a big issue, and it's my passion and purpose to reach as many people as possible, just like I know it is for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about similar things. Mainly, I've been in medicine for some time now, been through Ivy League education, and, it took me a while to understand that I was really trained to treat symptoms. And the medical system, for multiple reasons, is kind of catered that way, right? Everyone's a pill pusher, and unknowingly, like, I came out with an education. I thought I was learning the right things because you're indoctrinated to learn these things.
Right.
And it takes some time, and actually you got to step outside the box, which very few people do, to understand that, wait a minute, we're not helping anybody. We have high blood pressure. We're just giving a pill to treat that symptom. And all these things are symptoms. And I think you do a good job of explaining that in the book, but it's true. All these things are warning signs.
That's right. Warning signs, check engine lights. I have so much respect for you because you went down the conventional path and you got trained in it. And there's so much, I acknowledge you for doing that. It takes so much study and, of course, experience and time. But then you decided, okay, this is not getting to the cause. It's only treating the symptom, which can be so far removed from the actual cause. Right?
Yeah.
And you made a change, right? You made a decision to change the way you practice. And I respect that so much.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. And that's our goal, is to make this stuff mainstream, because this is what can actually make people healthier, feel better. The goal is to get people off drugs.
That's right.
Not get them dependent on drugs. And there's definitely ways to do that. One thing that I teach residents and fellows, and been doing it for a while, and something I really appreciated, as a surgeon treating patients, is that a lot of surgeons are quick to address things, right? There's a little problem, they have to come up with a solution. And I started becoming a little more patient and realizing that the body is a natural healing machine. And there's a lot of things that the body can do to heal. And I used to teach that all the time. I was like, our job is not necessarily to do everything to treat the body, but to be the point guard and make the assist.
That's great.
We can make an assist and help the body do its own thing, and you'll be amazed of how many things it can do to recover.
So true. And the main thing is to remove that interference.
Yes.
And usually it's interference, it's many different things. But once you remove it, then you, like you just said, you assist the body. Then this innate intelligence we have within every cell, this inner physician, it goes to work. Like, the body was built to heal itself. God designed the body to be self-healing.
Absolutely.
We just need to assist it, like you just said.
Yeah. So many, like, I'm actually really interested to discuss some of the topics in the book. I want to learn some more. I want to understand. One of the things is, how do we get rid of this stubborn belly fat, right? Because I know you're a keto
Yeah, love keto.
advocate. I did keto successfully for about 2.5 years, and I loved it. It was very good for my body. I train every day. I get a personal trainer, or I try to get at least 4 or 5 days a week, realistically. Try to eat clean. Now, I'm not on keto now, but I'm on low carb. I probably hover between 10 to 20% body fat. Hard to get below that for myself, doing things right. And reading your book, I realized, what I need to do to get over that edge, right? But there's some things that need clarity because, when I went to medical school, it was like, hey, it's as simple as calorie in, calorie out. But it makes a lot of sense that that's not true.
Yeah.
Right. And you made an analogy that it's like counting raindrops in a storm.
It's almost impossible.
Right. So why is calorie in, calorie out, very simply not the trick?
Yeah, I love that you brought this topic up because it's so popular. And I used to teach the old calories in versus calories out for many, many years.
Right.
It's the old, you just said the symptom's not the problem, right? They're very different. If somebody's overweight, they have extra belly fat, like you mentioned, they don't have a weight problem, they have a weight symptom.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a weight problem. The real problem is hormones, inflammation, and their metabolism is being blocked. So if you focus on just cutting calories, you're treating the symptom. A lot of people, so the premise behind calories in versus calories out is that I need you to lose weight so you could get healthy.
Right.
But that's not how the body works. We don't lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy to lose weight.
Love that.
So when we focus on cutting calories, it's a distraction. And it's impossible to know how many calories you're burning. Yeah, you could calculate how much you're consuming by putting it in an app. It'll give you a good idea. But how much you're actually burning. Because if you have different gut bacteria, gut diversity, you're not going to burn as many calories. If you have a low amount, you're not going to burn as much as somebody with a high amount. If you're not sleeping, you could be in a calorie deficit, but still be storing fat, belly fat, because you're not getting quality sleep. The analogy that I always give too when it comes to calorie counting, it's like if we had access to Warren Buffett, who was one of the richest men in the world, and we got to ask him a question, and we're like, Warren, please teach me, how did you become so wealthy? Teach me your ways. And he says, easy, Ben, just spend less than you earn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's exactly not the advice.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
It kind of makes sense, but what's the actual steps to do it, right?
Right.
So it's not about calories. It's about hormones. It's about inflammation. Once we start focusing on that, then the weight loss is a side effect of actually getting healthy.
Yeah. And I like what you said. It's like our bodies are machines, right? For our souls. And it's like you can turn that machine into a Ford Pinto.
Yes.
Or you can tune it into a Porsche GT.
That's right.
Right? And burn that fat.
That's right.
So it's really creating it into the machine that metabolizes well. So I think that's what you're talking about.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I know you read the book because that's exactly what was in the book.
Yep.
Most people, 93% of Americans are sugar burners. They're the Pinto. They're burning sugar and glucose. And there's nothing wrong with using sugar and glucose unless you're always using sugar and glucose.
Right.
It's a very dirty fuel source. You raise insulin. And every time you raise the hormone insulin, you're teaching your metabolism, hey, store fat. Fat. And you block fat burning 24/7. You're not going to access the belly fat that you're referring to.
Yeah.
The Porsche is when you teach your metabolism to become metabolically flexible. That's what metabolic freedom is, where, there's some days you could have your carbohydrates and you burn it very well, and then you shift back into fat burning mode. You could shift into fat burning mode by getting quality sleep, by practicing ketosis or even low carb, by improving your lean muscle mass, by getting adequate protein. There's different things you can do, but most people, they don't do that. They're stuck burning sugar, and that's where they have the symptoms. So what we want to do is teach them to be a Porsche GT3. Let's go. That's going to teach them to burn fat instead of sugar.
Yeah, and doesn't seem like it's as simple as being straight keto either.
No, it's not.
Because one thing that I picked up was it's about what you just said, metabolic flexibility. So that the body really has to be able to metabolize fats into ketones, use that for energy. But at the same time, if you should be able to introduce sugar, then your body should know what to do with that sugar.
That's right.
Right. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, there's different ways. So first and foremost, if you're overweight, you got all these symptoms, you're metabolically challenged, then shifting into ketosis is a very important first step, or even a low carb approach, very important step. But then you've done the work, you've built up that metabolism, then you could introduce what I call metabolic flex days, higher healthy carb days. So the way I do it is different than other people, but the way I do it is Monday through Saturday, I'm typically doing like a carnivore diet where I just eat mostly meat, practicing fasting, so I'm in ketosis. On Sunday, I will not fast, and I will have around 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrates, and I will intentionally get myself out of fat burning to sugar burning to maintain metabolic flexibility. So that's one way to do it. You could choose one day out of the week to carb up.
And then enjoy that day.
And then enjoy that day, right? We were talking about Persian food and the rice that,
the best rice in the world.
The best rice in the world, right? So that's the day I would have that, right? But I've done the work.
And you can't go to mom's house and not have the rice.
She would be offended, yeah.
For sure. So you reserve that for that one day a week, and then you're really training your body to rev up.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's more to that. We're going to simplify it here, right? These are the things I picked up, okay? And I'm going to use this. I love keto. It did well for my body. I like the idea of doing that Monday through Friday and then introducing carbs. But what type of carbs are we talking about? So when you're doing carbs, what are you having?
It's whole food carbohydrates. So it's the white rice, it's the fruit. Masa chips. Have you tried masa chips?
I love masa chips.
Fantastic, right? They
got
make
10 bags in my house right now.
Yeah, same. Easy to go through those. So I'll go through a couple bags on a Sunday. It's cooked in seed oils, organic corn tortilla. So it's mostly fruit, masa chips, and white rice on that flex day. But here's an important caveat here. On the high carb day, it's not a high fat day. That's where a lot of people make a mistake. We don't want high carbs and high fat. That'll set you back in terms of the fat loss.
Interesting.
So it's a lower fat day. It's a higher carb, higher protein day.
Okay.
Because when you have high carbs and high fat, that's a disaster for the metabolism. So you want to have a low fat day and a high carb day.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the other thing is, this one's interesting to me. It's the window of eating, right? You say that it's an 8-hour window.
That's a good starting point. Yeah, it's 8-hour eating window, 16-hour fasting window. And then you transition to longer fast.
How strict are you with that?
I'm pretty good with it. Yeah, I'm pretty good with it. I typically eat between like a 12 and 6 p.m. window personally. And then I'll throw in, like when I'm traveling, I'll throw in a full day fast. I rarely eat on a plane or at the airport, so it's a full day fast for me. And then once a year, I'll throw in like a 5-day water fast, which has profound, incredible benefits I can get into if you want. But a 5-day water fast will transform your health.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you're fasting on those days, travel days, you're still drinking water, taking electrolytes, or is it strict?
Yeah. It's not. It's what's called a water fast, and what's confusing to people that it sounds like you're fasting from water, but no. A water fast means only water, electrolytes, minerals. I'll have my coffee and my tea, but I'm not having anything that's spiking my glucose and insulin.
Yeah. Amino acids?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes if I want to preserve, I'll have some essential amino acids, yeah.
Okay, because those are really no calories.
Yeah, they're great. Great idea. If you're doing a longer fast and you want to preserve your lean muscle mass, you're fine. Especially when you're doing a lot of fasting, it's a great idea.
Yeah, okay. Now, the other thing that I read was pretty much, trying to use the circadian rhythm along with eating, right? And I think one of the physicians, was it Panda?
Yeah, Sachin Panda.
That you mentioned was talking about this. This is where I got a little confused because, if you keep it, are you saying to keep it consistent? So let's say 12 to 6 every day? Is that the premise?
He believes in keeping your eating window consistent. I don't so much believe in that because here's why. I like the idea of mixing up the schedule to keep the metabolism kind of adapting and guessing.
That's where I got confused with that.
Right, because I believe in the latter, and he believes in more keeping it at the same time every day.
Yep.
But here's what he did say that I referenced. It's better to have most of your calories earlier in the day as much as possible. So we have dinner today, and our mutual friend Antonio, he wanted to join us for dinner, and he said he couldn't make it till 8:30. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm sorry, because I don't eat that late. It wrecks my circadian rhythm. So like 5:30 is a great dinner for me. 8:30, I will feel it. But if the goal is just to have most of your calories during the day, once you start eating late at night, that is not good. It's going to disrupt your sleep and your metabolism.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point because, I used to have dinners late. I always thought the prime reservation for a restaurant is 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., which is actually the hardest time to get a reservation because everybody's doing it wrong. The smarter I'm getting, now Michelle and I will go to dinner routinely at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and eat dinner at that time, which I wasn't doing before. So one of the benefits is you can get reservations easier.
That's right.
there's less people. You may have an older crowd with you, but that's okay.
Until we change the paradigm here.
Until we change the paradigm. But that's one of the biggest hacks is like you need a lot of time before you go to sleep.
Yes, you do.
To digest.
the rule of thumb is at least 3 hours, but if you could push out to 5 hours, even better. And I'll explain why. And you know how important sleep is. Like this is what you teach. You help people breathe.
Chapter 6, that's coming up next.
Chapter 6 is, and this fits into that. But when you eat too close to bed, like so many people do, first of all, it takes a lot of energy to digest food. So you're going to be using energy, blood flow, and resources to digest food versus getting into deep restorative fat burning sleep, activating the glymphatic system, consolidating memory, all the amazing things that happen during sleep. And it raises your body temperature when you eat at night, which is the opposite of what you want. Your body temperature needs to drop 1 to 2 degrees to get into that deep delta sleep.
Which is why we have the temperature in the 60s.
Yeah, smart.
In the room.
Same. Yeah, mine is set to 67, the thermostat, and then my mattress has a cooling mattress that I set to 58.
Is it an 8 sleep?
No, it's the old chili pad.
Okay.
It's the different name for it now, but I have the old version called the chili pad. But the 8 sleep is great. Do you have that?
I have that.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So what do you set that to?
The coldest setting it has.
I think it's like 55. Yeah. So exactly, because your body needs to drop its core body temperature to get into that deep delta sleep. The deep delta sleep, as you know, you activate the glymphatic system. So the brain will shrink by 20% temporarily. So the cerebral spinal fluid flushes over and starts flushing out the plaques, the proteins.
Right.
Very important for detoxification. And then the second half of sleep is rapid eye movement sleep, where you're consolidating short-term memory for long-term memory. That takes a lot of calories to do that. So it helps you burn more fat when you get enough REM sleep. So for me, and we're already kind of in chapter 6 here of the book.
This is good.
For me, I aim to get 90 minutes of deep sleep and REM sleep every night.
Yeah.
And I usually could achieve that by being in bed for 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you talk about amyloid, right?
Yes.
So the colder your bed, less chance of Alzheimer's.
That's right.
Right? Now we're getting into chapter 6.
Yes.
Okay. The less you sleep, the fatter you'll get.
That's right.
Is that true?
100%.
Yeah. So now as a jaw surgeon and airway specialist, there's a silent epidemic where people have small jaws, right? I talk about this a lot. If anyone's had their wisdom teeth out, their jaws have been compromised.
Right. Most people have.
And most people have.
I was one of those.
Yeah. And it's just simple as that. If you had to have teeth removed, that means your jaws did not grow for the right amount of teeth. And people don't really think past that. They just think about the teeth. Even jaw surgeons, oral surgeons, dentists, physicians, it's like that's where they stop. But it's like what happens to the tongue, what happens to the nasal structures and the airway. So what we have is, yes, 95% or more people need their wisdom teeth out, which means that 95 out of 100 people today have compromised airways.
It's crazy.
Their jaws are small. So they can try all they want to have good sleep hygiene, which I advocate everybody to do because, I mean, it's essential. If you're going to sleep 5 hours, you're set up for failure, right? You need to try to get that 7, 8, 9 hours and try to get deep sleep, REM sleep. That's where growth hormone, and I know you talk about this, develops. It's where the interplay between cortisol and insulin interact, healthy versus unhealthy, so it's critical. So safe to say, if you've had your wisdom teeth out, you're set up to get fat.
Yes, safe to say. It's true.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you're not breathing, so many people, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, so many people are chronic mouth breathers.
Yes.
Not just during the day, but at night. And they know this because they wake up, their mouth is dry, they're so thirsty. Yeah. They're breathing through their mouth the entire night.
More people are mouth breathers than nasal breathers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was one of them. I was a chronic mouth breather. I had, my biological dentist told me, David, that when he first was starting to work with me, this is 2018, that I had the highest, what is it called, palate or what?
Yeah.
Highest
high arch palate.
Yeah. Arch palate that he's ever seen in his 30 plus years of dentistry. Like it was so high up, he could stick his finger all the way there. My teeth were completely crowded.
Yeah.
My face looked like a bird. I had no jaw structure, and I was tracking my sleep at that time. I was waking up throughout the night. My oxygen saturation was low.
Even if you try.
I had sleep apnea. I would wake up and catch my breath. So it's a big issue. It was a big issue for me, and I was starting to gain weight, and that happens to so many people. So this is a very important topic because when you correct it, even without any other changes, if you just correct this one thing that you work on with so many people, you will start to burn fat.
Yeah. And you made a point too that, this is the most important topic. I'm not talking about jaws or jaw surgery itself, but sleep in particular, because more than food, more than really exercise combined, sleep will do better for your metabolism than any one thing that you can work on.
That's right. So I share a story in the book about a client of mine when I was doing personal training. Sandy is the name. And he was obese. He was wearing a sleep apnea machine at night. He had high blood pressure, pre-diabetic. He was probably about 110 pounds overweight. And when I was meeting with him, I was telling him to share your lifestyle with me. What are you doing? Are you exercising? How's your sleep?
Right.
And he signed up for a gym membership where he was paying like $150 a month for a gym membership. And that's great. I'm not against a gym membership. I used to own a gym.
For sure.
But what he was doing was that he would wake up at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, compromising sleep.
Compromise sleep to make the 5 a.m. class, get it done before 6 a.m., get back home, change, go back to work. And I said, no, actually, don't even work out right now. Yeah. Let's get that extra hour and a half of sleep. Let's work on improving your sleep.
Yep.
And he started to lose weight just doing that. Before that, he wasn't losing weight because he thought exercise was the solution, but it was actually getting his sleep improved.
Yeah, I love that because you said that as you got to fix the foundation.
That's it.
Right, and sleep is foundational.
It is.
Yeah, and we are set up as society to have less and less sleep. Right, and there was a stat you put that was really interesting. It was like in 1913. Nobody was obese. It was like 1% of the population.
Yeah.
Was it the 3%?
Yeah, in 1930, it was less than 5%.
Less than 5% of the population was obese.
Now Harvard is saying by 2030, it's going to be 50%.
Obese. We're not talking about overweight.
Correct.
Probably
obese.
90% of people are overweight.
Correct. Probably.
Right.
Yeah, that 93% of Americans that are unhealthy, they're probably overweight. But yeah, this is obese, 50%.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is insane. And you know what's important about what you just said?
Yeah.
Is that blows away the excuse that you're obese because of your genetics.
Yes.
Because our genes do not change that fast.
They haven't changed in 50
It takes
years.
thousands of years for our genes to change.
Yes.
So if there was less than 5% obesity in 1930 and now it's going to be 50%, it's not genetic.
Yes.
It's epigenetic.
It's epigenetic for sure.
Meaning you're not obese because of the genes you have. You're obese because what's in your grocery shopping cart, because you're poor sleep, because of your lifestyle behaviors.
Your interaction on your genes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's turning on, turning off
that's interesting. Genes. And it's multifactorial and you get into all this, it's the foods we're eating. They're more processed. I mean, it's crazy. You go to a grocery store and there's no fresh food.
It's crazy.
It's like one aisle out of 15 aisles is fresh food.
That's right. The perimeter, and that's all you got.
That's it. The perimeter.
The right side of the. Yeah.
And then there's problems there too because most of it's sprayed with pesticides and
appeal and different things that we're not aware of. Yeah.
And things we're not aware of. So that's changed since 1930 for sure.
Yes.
For sure. But the other problem is sleep because, now we have iPhones, we have computers connected to us at all times. Some people have goggles where they're looking at screens.
Oh my gosh.
in VR goggles. But we're blasted with all this light and information, and it's becoming very difficult to actually put it down. Like I'm a busy surgeon, and I have to answer emails. I have to answer texts. I have to check on my patients. So, as much as I try and I'm aware, I'm on my screen until sometimes 10 p.m., right? And that's wrecking sleep.
It is. And there's things you can do. You could wear those blue light blocking glasses. I have these for the day. They're more yellow, but you could wear the more reddish ones at night to help kind of filter out the light. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it is necessary to check your email. I'm really good with that, so I tend to shut down after like 8:30 p.m., so I'm not looking at that.
That's great. I got to do that habit.
But my fiance, on the other hand, I get on her case a little bit about being on the phone.
I mean, it's hard. It's
a
commitment.
It is. It can be hard, but man, I work hard during the day, but as soon as it reaches a certain time of the day, that's it. I'm done. I'm done to the next morning.
Yeah.
And it helps. It helps with my sleep. I get into that groove. And if you can't do that right now, then wearing blue light blocking glasses, taking your magnesium, not eating before bed. There's things you can do to improve your sleep even with that. But ideally, you do want to disconnect at least an hour before bed.
And it's critical. Sleep is so important.
Yeah.
There was another interesting thing that you wrote about shift workers.
Yeah.
They die earlier.
They classify shift work as a type of carcinogen.
Yes.
They have a shorter lifespan because it's a huge mismatch to their circadian rhythm. We're not designed to be up. And yeah, I get it. Like sometimes you got to make ends meet. And thank God we have shift work because it helps the world go round.
For sure.
But if you do it long term, it could be a problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge mismatch to your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
So, in general, you want to eat when the sun's out, no food when the sun's down, and find ways to wind down and get oxytocin at night versus cortisol. That's the goal.
There's a really interesting stat. I don't know if you're aware of this one or not, but they look at life expectancy of different medical physicians. And ER physicians have to do shift work, right? They're either, I don't know what it is. They're either day shift or night shift in the ER. And it's a popular specialty. I remember when I was in medical school, it was a specialty that a lot of top students wanted to get into.
Really?
Because it's shift work, and they're like, you're not on call, you're not responsible for anything. You can turn it on and turn it off. And that was appealing to them. However, and I think it's attributed to the sleep, right? And the night shift things. You know what the life expectancy for an ER physician is?
No.
So young ladies, or young men, if you're planning on marrying an ER physician, 58 years old.
No way.
That's the life expectancy for an ER physician.
That's almost 20 years less than the average person.
Yeah. A general medicine practitioner, by contrast, in their 80s.
Wow.
That's a crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat.
And that's not anything I ever heard when I was in medical school.
Oh, no.
And
they don't want you to know
I'm sure they
that.
don't want to they still don't teach that today.
Wow.
So for those med students that are going into, that's a consideration you got to take into account.
Definitely
There's a reason
that.
for that.
Yeah,
right?
share this with somebody who who wants to be an ER specialist. I mean,
Sure.
we need them.
And we need them.
Thank God. But
so if you are an ER physician, you got to take that into account. Ask for more pay, maybe take some more time off, or really realize what that's doing to your sleep. Because I think if they're aware of it, that maybe if it is asleep, which I think is a big part of it, then you got to do things so that you're still getting your deep sleep, REM sleep.
That's right. The biggest part here of this, here's the reason why I think they die so young, and the reason why lack of sleep is so detrimental. It's the melatonin piece.
Interesting.
Because melatonin is, we hear about melatonin supplementation helps with sleep, but it's way more than that. Melatonin is actually the mitochondria's most important antioxidant. And when you are a shift worker, or if you just get poor sleep, eat too close to bed, all the bad things, you deplete melatonin, meaning your mitochondria doesn't have this antioxidant to buffer oxidative stress, and it ages you rapidly. And the mitochondria also help you burn fat. The more energy your mitochondria produce, the more fat you burn. If you don't have melatonin, most people are melatonin deficient, they're depleted, you're not producing enough energy. So you feel fatigued, you feel inflamed, and it's going to shorten your lifespan. So melatonin plays a big role here.
That's interesting. Now you said something about, I read a lot about mitochondria and ATP production going down as we age.
Yes.
But you said something that you can still be in your 70s and burn like a teenager.
That's right, yeah.
How is that?
So there's a study, this is the most comprehensive study ever done in the metabolism. I put it in the book. It was a Duke study, 2022. Ponsner was the person who did the study. 6,600 people in this study, and it was a worldwide study. So they involved the United States, they involved other countries, and they took the age group for the study from starting at age 1, so a 1-year-old, all the way to age 95, and everybody in between. So pretty broad range of people, 6,600 people.
Comprehensive.
Very comprehensive. And they used the gold standard for measuring their metabolism, which was a urine test. And they measured their metabolism, and the study showed that between the ages of 20 years old and 60 years old, there are no significant changes in the metabolism.
Interesting.
At all. So the excuse that, hey, I'm 40, my metabolism has slowed down, nope.
That's BS.
The studies show that doesn't happen. The metabolism doesn't work in speeds. It's either efficient or inefficient. But the interesting thing is that the study showed after the age of 60, they noticed a 0.7% decline in the metabolism every year after age 60.
Yeah.
But it also went on to conclude that the reason why the metabolism goes into decline is loss of muscle mass. So if you build lean muscle mass, preserve lean muscle mass, you could be 95 years old with the same metabolism as when you were 25 years old. I think that's super cool.
That is cool. And it probably has to do with a lot that as people age, they become more sedentary.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They get into these careers, they're more at a desk job. As we're kids, we're running around and exercising 12 hours a day.
That's right.
Right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, we should be. we did it as children. The kids are doing it less and less today. But, people get into their careers, that really stops.
Yeah.
Because of all these responsibilities. But it's really just a mind shift. Like, you got to be aware of these things.
Just walking every day.
And walking.
Walking is the ultimate fat loss hack. You mentioned belly fat.
Yep.
If you just walked every single day and got steps after your meal, these are called exercise snacks. Because when you're walking, I'm not talking about running. Go ahead.
You said after meals.
Yes, after meals.
Yeah.
And I'll get to why that's important. But and I'm not saying running. I'm not saying jogging. I'm saying just
walking.
Just
casual.
Walking. Zone 2.
Take the dog for a walk.
Like before this morning, I went for a 1-hour walk in my neighborhood listening to an audiobook.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It helps me maintain, low body fat percentage throughout the entire year.
Right.
So if you just went for walks after your meal, so here's the reason why you want to do it after your meals or your biggest meal of the day. When you eat a big meal, typically it's dinner for most people.
Right.
There's going to be, you're going to convert that food into sugar, and then your blood sugar increases in your bloodstream, and your body wants to control that. So your pancreas produces insulin to clear that excess glucose and put it into your cells. The more insulin that's produced to clear that, the longer you're in a fat storage state. When you go for a walk, as little as 10 minutes after a meal, but better 30 minutes after a meal, you could blunt that glucose response, postprandial glucose, by 30 to 40%, just by a simple walk.
Interesting.
And you could be on a sales call, you could be working, you could just be present. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but just going for a walk after that meal has amazing benefits.
Yeah. Do you mean for 30 minutes or 30 minutes after a meal?
For 30 minutes.
Right after. Immediately after a meal. Don't sit.
Yeah, don't sit. It could be as little, you're sitting while you're eating, then you go for that walk. It could be as little as 10 minutes. You'll get benefits there, but optimal will be 30-minute walk after the meal.
Okay. That's great. I'm going to start incorporating that too.
There you go.
It's enjoyable too.
It
feels better.
Yeah, and you have your pup Karma. It's going to be easy to do
so
that.
you want a six-pack, or you call that even more importantly, that mental six-pack.
That's right. Mental six-pack, yes.
Huge pearls dropped right now. Eat early.
Yep.
Keep a restricted time window. Mostly keto.
Yeah, low-carb keto.
Low-carb keto. Cheat, have fun, but cleanly. But don't have carbs with bad fats.
Or high fat in general,
So protein and carbs when you're doing that.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so some pasta is okay, or have some rice, some Persian rice with tzadik.
That's right.
It's all good.
It's all good.
With mom on Saturday or Thursday.
Yes, exactly. You remember.
Or Friday, whatever it is.
It's Thursdays, yeah.
All right, so these are good. And sleep, you guys got to sleep.
Yeah, probably the most important thing, right?
If you had your wisdom teeth out, call me.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so important. Seriously, it's changed my life. Now I look at my my Oura ring and my sleep score. Everything is improved, but I also feel better. I used to have to nap every day.
Yeah.
When I was not getting sleep because of my poor jaw alignment, I had to nap every day. I would cancel appointments because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
Now I'm 40, turning 41 soon, and I feel the healthiest I've felt in my life. And a big part of that was taking care of that facial structure and my jaw alignment.
You can do everything right, but if your airway is restricted, which I would say 95% or more, I may even be conservative if I'm saying 95%, because of environmental factors, like we said, epigenetics, processed foods, not chewing, not breastfeeding.
Yeah, braces as well.
Braces.
That was my issue too.
Yeah, some iatrogenic causes like braces, allergies. There are all these environmental factors that are changing our gene expressions. People's jaws are not what they should be. And that's why everybody has crowded teeth. They need to go to an orthodontist. They've had wisdom teeth. If you've had any of those, your airway's not optimal. That's a fact.
And that's
right.
Pretty much everybody.
And you can do everything right, but you can't breathe. So people are on CPAP machines, which is not ideal. Helps, but not ideal. And most people are just not aware. We're talking about ADHD, pretty much every chronic illness, because it's exactly, I'm reading your book, I'm like, this is on it, because metabolic a poor metabolism, which is what you're talking about, right? And you have all these hacks for poor metabolism, is going to contribute to every chronic illness we know.
That's right.
Autoimmune, I know you talked about that in your book.
Cancer,
heart disease, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, obesity, literally everything that most adults think is a normal part of aging and a miserable aging experience comes down to metabolism. And metabolism, really, you need to breathe first and foremost.
Your cells need oxygen.
Yes.
It's one of the most important fuel sources. So you need to breathe. You're right. You could be doing all the sexy biohacks, the red light, sauna, the cold plunge, which I love all those. But if you're not breathing properly, it's like you have one foot on the gas pedal and then you're stuck on the brake. You only get so far.
You need to hit both of those.
That's right.
And to the same thing, I love sauna, I love red light, I love cold plunge. I do all of them.
Same.
I try to do all the right things. I'm going to do some more things just from that I learned from you.
Love it.
Reading this book. It's great. I'm going to have a 6-pack on the next.
Let's go.
Next time we meet.
Deal. At the vault in September. That's just a few weeks away.
Deal. I could do that.
Okay, let's go.
But yeah, these things are really critical. I want to talk about a 30-day
reset.
The reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a minute or two.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So the book is split up into 2 different parts, right? I have the first half talks about the main disruptors to the metabolism. This is what's calling metabolic diseases. So these are the problems that we need to identify and remove. That's the first half, the problem. Second half are the solutions. All right, ketosis, fasting, sleep, mindset. Then chapter 12, it's all wrapped together in the actual protocol. Because we could give people information, but information doesn't change lives. It's the action of it, the application.
Right.
So the 30-day plan is the application of it. And it's a 30-day plan where most people lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Of course, it depends on how much weight you have to lose going into it. But we shift you into ketosis gently. We practice fasting. We practice gratitude. We practice steps. We do different biohacks. We change the fasting schedule. We're mixing it up. And it's enjoyable. You know, there's a plan for a beginner. There's a plan for those that are advanced. There's different biohacks in there. So it's kind of a choose your own adventure sort of thing.
Yeah.
And man, people are getting incredible results. I see them post in the Facebook group. It's been absolutely incredible. So that's the 30-day reset.
That's awesome. Do I have 30 days before the vault?
What is it? What are we? You know, you have about like 24 days or so.
I can do it.
Yeah.
24. Kobe's number.
There you go.
It's a magical
24.
number. We can do it.
There you go. Do it. Seriously.
That's good. One of the biggest, most important things I want to talk about, you just brought it up, and it's mindset.
Yes, that's the most important thing.
This is really interesting to me because I've been saying this for a long time as a surgeon. I've been practicing surgery for about 20 years now, and I see, firsthand that positive mindset influences not only subjectively the recovery, objectively. I'm talking about the way wounds heal, risk of infection, how fast people heal. Those with positive mindsets, their cells behave differently.
Yes.
And I've seen this and I talk about it all the time. And those with negative, pessimistic outlooks, and look, people are pessimistic or optimistic. This is a reality. Okay, which one are you? But pessimistic people have worse outcomes. I see it. And it's not just they feel worse and it's subjective and that's their default mode. They actually have longer healing times. They have more problems. Wow. And it's real. And I couldn't really understand it. But then I read some things that you mentioned in your book about how you can what it means to talk to your cells.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I really want you to talk about that because that was fascinating for me. I love the way you broke that
Thank
down.
you. Yeah, it's interesting what you shared, and I believe exactly what you just said.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people don't get that our thoughts influence our cells like directly. We've heard of the placebo effect. There's also the nocebo effect.
Right.
Pretty much get what you think you're going to get.
Yes.
So when we think about our thoughts, most people don't think. They are having thoughts, but they're not thinking. There's a difference. They just have mental activity. So with our thoughts, we have 60,000 thoughts a day. It's a lot of thoughts. And psychiatrists estimate that 90% of the thoughts we have every day are the same thoughts from yesterday. Again, they're not thinking. They're just going through the motions.
Just going through.
What?
Just going through life.
Just going through life, exactly. Yeah. And then they also estimate that 85% of them are negative thoughts. Thinking thoughts. And your thoughts, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's a world-renowned cell biologist, has proven that every single thought you have is a frequency that communicates directly with your DNA nucleus within every single cell.
Yes, I love that. I 100% believe this
100%. It's the truth. He showed this with his research.
Yep.
It used to be like woo-woo. No, now it's legitimate, right?
Yep.
And so if it's a hateful thought, angry thought, bitter thought, a thought I'm never going to heal, I hate the surgery, whatever it is, that frequency sent to the DNA signals to the DNA to produce inflammatory proteins where it damages your DNA and shortens your lifespan with a single thought.
Say that again. I think this is so important.
It's so important. So if you have any kind of negative thought, the signal sent to your DNA signals to your DNA to produce inflammatory proteins, which damages your DNA and shortens your lifespan with a single thought.
Yes.
But if it's a loving thought, abundant, grateful, happy thought, Same signal sent, but now it tells your DNA produce anti-inflammatory proteins. It protects your DNA, it protects your telomeres, and it extends your lifespan with a single thought. So if we have 60,000 thoughts a day, that means we have 60,000 opportunities to put the body in a healing anti-inflammatory state every single day. But most people do the opposite. They put the body in an inflamed state with their stinking thinking.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you can actually talk to yourself. I always used to say it, and I didn't know how to describe it, but I'm like, you can talk to yourselves. You can really manifest how you feel, how your body grows, how you heal.
It's the most important conversation you'll ever have. It's talking to yourself.
Talking to yourself.
Like in your head, all your thoughts.
Yeah.
Most important conversation.
And keep it positive. How do people that are, so many people are pessimistic?
Well, that's because they've been trained that way. It's the environment. So you're right. How do you just change your thoughts? They're just coming in all the time. Well, your environment determines your thoughts.
Yeah.
So if you're watching the news every day and you're around toxic people who are gossiping and also having toxic thoughts.
That's huge. Stay away from toxic people.
You will have toxic thoughts.
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. But if you hang out with David, with me, and go to dinner with us, go to the Vault Conference, like hang out with people
that are... Go to the Vault Conference.
Yeah,
that's an amazing community,
Amazing community. You're going to have better thoughts because they're thinking bigger.
Yes.
So your environment will determine your thoughts.
It's so true. That's so true. And you hear these things all the time, like the 5 people closest to you are the person you become.
It's true.
Right. This stuff is true. So yeah, be around positive people.
That's right.
Yeah. And game recognizes game.
That's right.
Right? This
real recognize real. Exactly. Yes. All that.
Yeah. All right. What do you have? We're going to Carbone after this.
We are.
My favorite restaurant.
It's a great restaurant.
I usually go for the rigatoni. The garlic bread.
Not keto. I thought we're going to get abs. Keto. That's not conducive to abs.
But today I'm committed. Actually, I pretty much fasted through travel.
Good.
I've had almost nothing since yesterday.
Awesome.
So I'm committed.
I love it.
What are you having? I'm gonna have what you have tonight.
I'm gonna
do it real.
The ribeye. They've got a ribeye, so straight up steak.
Yeah. How can you not enjoy that?
It's so good.
I always used to say keto is so easy for me because I love steak.
Yeah, it's me too. It's easy. Just eat the meat. Throw away the bun. Just eat the meat.
So we're gonna do it. I'm gonna have a different experience at Carbone tonight.
And you don't have to do that.
Better.
I will not judge.
I'm committed.
Okay. Okay. Good. I respect it.
All right. We're almost out of time, but I want a couple important things. One is, you tell me in your words, 3 biggest biohacks.
Well, the biggest one is the thought thing, right?
Yes.
You change your thoughts to change your life. So change your environment to change your thoughts. That's the best biohack. The second one would be a supplement called vitamin G. Mm-hmm. So vitamin G helps with fat loss. It's anti-inflammatory. Pretty much helps with every single condition known to man. Mm-hmm. The ones we mentioned earlier and all the ones we didn't mention. UC Davis has a study showing those who take vitamin G have healthier blood pressure, healthier blood sugar levels. Harvard published a study in JAMA last year with 49,275 nurses, big study. And it showed the nurses who took vitamin G had a 9% reduction in dying from all-cause mortality.
Interesting. Vitamin G. Never hear about vitamin G.
Right. And a 15% reduction in dying from cardiovascular disease compared to the nurses who didn't take vitamin G. And one more quick study looked at mitochondrial health in caregivers.
Yeah.
So caregivers have a very difficult job. That's a stressful job.
For sure.
And they measured the mitochondrial health of caregivers who took vitamin G at night the next morning. And it showed the caregivers who took vitamin G had healthier mitochondria versus the caregivers who didn't take vitamin G. Mm. Okay, your audience is wondering, and you might be wondering, I'm not sure, what is vitamin G?
I was wondering.
Where can you get it? Yes. Is it on Amazon? Is it at the supplement shop? Vitamin G is vitamin gratitude.
I love it.
It's the feeling of gratitude.
Yes.
All those studies are on gratitude.
I love it.
And it's not the practice of gratitude, David.
Yep.
It's the feeling of gratitude. Very different. When you feel gratitude, you produce oxytocin.
Yes.
And by the way, if you want to burn fat,
yes,
so many people have a cortisol belly because of stress. Mm-hmm. And it's the reason why we store fat when we're stressed out is because there are twice as many receptor sites for cortisol in your visceral fat than subcutaneous fat. What's the fastest way to lower cortisol? Raise oxytocin. Gratitude is the quickest way to do that. So it helps with fat loss as well.
Vitamin G. Everybody.
Vitamin G. So that's the second one. The third one would
be some 50-cent G unit.
I remember that. the third, because that's the second one. The third one would be to avoid inflammatory fats like seed oils, like it's your job.
Yes.
And I talk about this in the book, and I know.
I'm glad you brought that
up.
Well,
I'll just explain a couple things real quick because we don't have much time. But there's a toxicologist named Dr. Martin Grutfeld who did a study on French fries cooked in seed oils, vegetable oils. And he observed the toxin aldehyde, which we know is a cancer-causing toxin. People who smoke tobacco cigarettes, they have an increased chance of cancer, increased risk of cancer because of aldehydes that are produced when you smoke tobacco cigarettes. So he saw that in 25 French fries from like McDonald's or even a fancy restaurant cooked in vegetable oil, it produced the same amount of aldehydes as 25 tobacco cigarettes smoked.
Crazy. Have a cigar, skip the fries.
Don't do that. But it essentially means one French fry is a tobacco cigarette smoked.
Right.
And these fats stay in your body for years. The half-life to get rid of them is 680 days.
That's crazy.
So once you eat them, they're in your cells within hours, and they're there for years. So the list is canola, corn, cottonseed oil, soybean, safflower, sunflower oil, rice bran oil, and grapeseed oil. Those are the bad fats. Avoid them. We want saturated fats like butter, ghee. We want beef tallow. That's why I love the masa chips. When I go to restaurants,
they're also crispier and taste better.
They are. And I put this in your book, the book that I gave you. When I go to restaurants, like tonight, you'll see me use this. I'm going to give you one.
Yeah, I'll use it too.
A seed oil allergy card. And I show this to the server. Every restaurant I go, some people think it's crazy, but I don't want to take the hit,
I'm
dude.
allergic to seed oils.
And it shows the bad oils.
For how many days?
680 days for half of it.
Man.
So you show this to the server, and then they accommodate. They do a really good job. They cook it in beef tallow or whatever options they have. So I use this allergy card. Or you just tell them you're allergic. That works too.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I have so many more questions, but 2 more.
Okay.
We're almost out of
I'll
time.
be quick, yeah.
You're non-negotiable.
Seed oils.
Seed oils.
I don't have any seed oils. Late dinners.
Yeah, that's it. We're having dinner right after this.
5:30.
5:30 appointment. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Greatest basketball player of all time.
Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Can't argue against
it. Kobe's not too far behind. He's definitely past.
I think they're 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's definitely way past LeBron. I'll tell you that.
I agree with that.
MJ is MJ.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue against it. That was awesome.
It was great, bro. I appreciate you and your work.
Same. Thank you very much. Any, like, comment, share, any questions, let us know, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Let's go get some carbone.
Let's do it.